7 months ago, I found out that my wife was having an affair with a man who was much older than us. Just like that, 8 years of my life felt completely wasted, gone in an instant. At the time I was 31 years old and she was 33. The man she was involved with, I'll call him her drill partner, was nearly 50 years old. I discovered the affair purely by accident. It was just a matter of being in the right place at the right time. I had been away on a business trip and was expected to return the next day, but things wrapped up earlier than expected. So, I decided to surprise her by coming home that night instead. I didn't call ahead. I thought it would be a sweet surprise to just show up. While I was driving, I noticed that my fuel tank was low, so I took the next exit to get gas. For reference, this exit was about 12 miles from our house. After filling up, I got back on the road, but the route to the highway was slow. Every intersection had either a stop sign or traffic light, and traffic was crawling. While I sat at a four-way stop, I glanced down a side street, and that's when I saw it. My wife's car was pulling out and heading in the same direction I was going. At first I thought I must be mistaken, but no, it was definitely her car. My stomach tightened. What was she doing way out here? We had spoken just a couple of hours earlier, and she never mentioned being in this area. Something didn't feel right. I quickly grabbed my phone and called her. It rang 4 times before she picked up. Her voice sounded rushed and out of breath, like she'd just been running. "Hey," she said, her tone oddly unsteady. "What are you doing?" I asked, trying to sound calm. "Oh," she hesitated briefly. "I was just about to call you." I frowned. "Yeah. Where are you?" I just had to run a quick errand," she replied, still sounding off. "Why?" "Our meeting's finished early," I told her. "I'm on my way home." She seemed happy to hear that and quickly asked when I'd be there, trying to make it seem like she was already home. I told her I should arrive within 15 minutes. As we talked, I could tell from the background noise that she was driving. "Where are you headed?" asked casually. There was a slight pause. "Oh, just going to the store." Something about the way she hesitated made my stomach twist. "Which one?" "The one closest to our house," she answered quickly. That was a lie. I could see her car just a few hundred yards ahead of me, merging onto the highway. There was no reason for her to be that far from home if she was just going to the local store. That moment I knew something was wrong. She was either cheating on me or hiding something serious. Why else would she lie? I thought about confronting her right then, but decided to play along. If she was going to lie, I wanted to see how far she would go. "Great," I said smoothly. "I'll meet you there, and then we can go out for dinner." There was a short silence before she responded, sounding a little too eager. "That sounds great." Smirk. She definitely wasn't expecting that. Then, in the calmest voice I could manage, I added, "I just passed the rest area." That rest area was right behind her. There was silence for a moment. Then suddenly she slammed the gas pedal, speeding up quickly. She had to be going over 90 miles per hour, racing down the highway. I let out a breath, gripping the steering wheel tightly. She knew I was on to her. She was running, probably thinking, "That was close. I almost got caught." By the time I pulled into the store parking lot, she was already there, standing by her car. She walked over as I parked, adjusting her clothes and checking her makeup in a small mirror. She was trying to look casual, but I could see the tension in her body. Inside the store, she turned to me and said, "I need to use the restroom." I nodded. "Me too." Her face twitched slightly, but she quickly covered it with a smile. I finished quickly and stepped outside to wait for her. 5 minutes passed, then 10, then 15. Still no sign of her. When she finally came out, I smirked and said, "I was about to send in a search party for you." She laughed lightly and brushed it off. "Sorry, I had to do a number 2. I nodded, pretending to believe her. But inside I knew she was lying. I'd heard the sink running the whole time. She hadn't been using the toilet. She was cleaning herself up, probably scrubbing off the sweat and smell from whatever she had just been doing with that man. We finished shopping and decided to grab some ready-made food from the store instead of eating out. I kept my expression calm, but my mind was spinning, replaying every detail. When we got home and sat down to eat, I asked casually, "So, how was your day?" She didn't hesitate. "Nothing special," she said, taking a bite. "Just went to work and came straight home." Straight home. But I gripped my fork tighter. Every new lie that came out of her mouth made my blood boil. But I forced myself to stay calm. If I confronted her without solid proof, she'd twist everything, make me feel crazy. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, wide awake. Meanwhile, she slept peacefully beside me, like nothing had happened. It amazed me how easily she could rest, knowing what she had done. You'd think she'd be anxious about being caught. But no, she was completely at ease, while I was left in turmoil, unable to sleep. The next evening, while she was making dinner, I decided to check her phone. There was nothing, no strange texts, no odd calls. I also looked up our phone and credit card bills online. Still nothing unusual. For a moment I felt relieved. Maybe I had overreacted. Maybe I had imagined the worst. But the feeling didn't last. Just because I hadn't found anything didn't mean she wasn't hiding something. It just meant she was good at covering her tracks. By then I was anxious. I needed real proof, and I was going to find it. Looking back now, I know I did the right thing. But at the time it was painful, pretending everything was normal, smiling like a loyal husband while inside I was a wreck. About a week passed, and everything seemed routine. I played my part, watched carefully, waited quietly, knowing it was only a matter of time before she slipped up again. Then one afternoon she called me while I was at work. "Hey babe," she said casually. "Just wanted to let you know I have to work a little late tonight. It's our monthly close and things are backed up." I leaned back in my chair and held the phone tighter. "Oh yeah. How late do you think?" "Not sure, maybe an hour or two. I'll text you when I'm leaving." I forced myself to sound normal. "All right. Don't work too hard." We said goodbye, and I stared at my phone for a long moment. Something about her tone felt off again. Yes, she had stayed late before, but this time I just knew. This wasn't about work. I remembered that same street I saw her on last week, the one she never had a reason to be on. That's where she was going. I could feel it. So that afternoon I left work early. I arrived around 4:30 p.m. and made a couple of slow passes down the street. Nothing. I didn't see her car anywhere. Not wanting to draw attention, I drove a bit further and parked at a McDonald's near the main intersection where I had a clear view of the road. Sure enough, at 4:45, her car pulled up to the light and made that same familiar turn down the street. I gripped the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. I waited 10 minutes, long enough for her to get comfortable, then drove down the street myself. There it was. Her car, parked neatly in the driveway of one of the houses, right beside a brand new Ram pickup truck. I sat there staring at the house, my heart pounding, hands clenched into fists. For a moment, I wanted nothing more than to jump out of my car, walk up to the door, and knock until someone answered. I wanted to see her face. To see the man she was betraying me with. But I didn't. Something deep inside me told me to stop. Instead, I reached for my phone, snapped a few pictures of her car in the driveway, and drove off. On the way home, my thoughts raced. This wasn't just suspicion anymore. I had proof. The moment I got home, I looked up the address where I had just seen her car. I needed to know who this guy was. A quick online search gave me a name, and my stomach twisted when I saw the results. He wasn't a stranger. He was the co-owner of a company that did business with hers. So, it wasn't just an affair with some random man. She was getting involved with a client. Mixing business with betrayal. I dug deeper. Public records showed he was either 49 or 50 years old, and had lived at that address since 2009. Further digging revealed that he was divorced, with 2 college-aged kids. Perfect. A middle-aged businessman with no obligations, targeting a married woman who clearly had no boundaries. That evening, she came home smiling like everything was fine, carrying takeout from my favorite Chinese restaurant. My favorite place. Like that was supposed to distract me. "Hey babe," she said cheerfully, walking in with warmth in her eyes. She leaned in for a kiss, but I turned slightly, giving her just a light air kiss. That wasn't enough for her. She playfully grabbed my chin and pouted. Don't give me that. Give me a real one. I nearly recoiled. There was no way I was putting my lips anywhere near hers after where she had just been. But I forced myself to play along and gave her a quick, cold kiss before pulling away. We sat down to eat. I tried to act normal, but every bite felt like poison. While we ate, I casually said, "I've got to go out to a customer site tomorrow. I won't be back until late." Her interest perked up instantly. "Oh yeah. Where to?" "Just a couple of towns over," I replied, keeping it vague. "What time are you leaving?" she asked, trying to sound casual. "Early. Probably won't be back until the evening." I could see the wheels turning in her head. She was already planning her next move, thinking she'd have another chance to meet up with him. She smiled sweetly and said, "Well, don't pick anything up on your way home. I'll have dinner ready." Dinner. After spending the day with him, she was going to cook for me like some loving wife. Made me sick. But that dinner wasn't going to happen, because I had other plans. Of course, I had no customer visits scheduled. The only place I was going was back to that man's house. If her car was there again, that would be it. No more waiting. No more doubts. And as expected, things played out just like before. I drove over in the afternoon, and there it was again. Her car parked in the exact same spot. My stomach twisted, but this time there was no shock. Only confirmation. I didn't waste a second. I drove straight home, made a hotel reservation, and started packing my things. Every zip of the suitcase felt like I was locking the door on this marriage. I wasn't even sad, just done. Once I had everything ready, I picked up the phone and called her. To my surprise, she answered right away, cheerful as ever. "Hey, babe," she said brightly. "What's up?" Clenched my jaw. "What are you doing?" "Oh, just sitting in a conference room, working on a spreadsheet," she replied casually, lying straight to my face. Yeah. She was spreading something all right, but it wasn't data on a spreadsheet. "You're lying," I said calmly, my voice ice cold. What? "I know where you are. I know who you're with. And I know exactly what you're doing." Silence. "You're either screwing him right now or just finished. Just like you did yesterday, just like last week." Still silence. She didn't even try to deny it. Not a single no. Not a "you've got it wrong." Nothing. "I'm done with you," I said. "And I won't be home when you get there." Still nothing. Just dead air. I let that hang for a second. Then I let out all the words I'd been holding in for far too long. And I hung up. I sat back, took a deep breath, and waited. 20 minutes passed. Then the calls and texts started pouring in. She was in full panic mode. And I knew exactly why it took her 20 minutes to call back. Because right after I hung up, she probably turned to him wide-eyed and said, "Oh my God, my husband knows." For the next 20 minutes, she had been scrambling, panicking, thinking, trying to figure out how to save herself. And now she was ready to talk. For the next 24 hours, my phone never stopped buzzing. She must have left over 50 voicemails and sent more than 100 texts. I should have blocked her. But a part of me wanted to see just how desperate she would get. At first, the messages were full of denial. "It's not what it looks like. I can explain." As if there was any excuse that would make this okay. As if I hadn't seen her car in that same driveway 2 days in a row. When I didn't reply, her tone changed. She started sobbing in the voicemails. "I'm so sorry, Frank. Please just talk to me." Then came full-blown hysteria, begging for forgiveness. Isn't that always how it goes? They don't care while sneaking around, but the moment they're caught, they break down. That night, after I checked into the hotel, I went down to the bar to calm my nerves. I hadn't eaten much, so the drinks hit me quickly, dulling the anger just enough. When I got back to the room, I did what I had to do. I called our parents and told them everything. I was a little buzzed, so I didn't hold back. I laid it all out, every disturbing detail. My mom gasped. "Frank, no. She wouldn't." "She did," I said, my voice flat. "She's been sleeping with some guy in his 50s, one of her company's clients. I caught her. There was silence. Then my dad, always calm, cleared his throat. Son. Are you sure? I laughed bitterly. Dad, I saw her car at his place twice. She lied to my face while standing in his house. When I confronted her, she didn't even try to deny it. What more proof do you need? My mom's voice cracked. I thought you two were happy. I stared at the hotel ceiling, numb. Yeah. So did I. They were shocked, just like I had been. They believed our marriage was perfect. But that had just been a lie. Over the next few months, I stayed in hotels while the divorce was being processed. I cut off all contact with her. No texts, no calls. Only my parents knew where I was. I didn't trust anyone else not to tell her. Everyone took my side, except her closest friends, of course. But even my friends and family kept repeating the same thing. You should at least talk to her. Let her apologize. Let her explain in person. From the messages she'd been leaving and what mutual friends told me, I knew she was falling apart. That wasn't surprising. She went from cheating behind my back to full-blown panic once she realized I was really gone. But instead of letting her face the consequences, her friends made it my responsibility. At first, it was just pressure. Pleading texts, long voicemails from people I barely knew, all saying the same thing. Just talk to her, Frank. She's not doing well. Let her explain. Then her older sister called. That's when things got nasty. One evening my phone rang and I picked up without thinking. Big mistake. Frank, what the hell is wrong with you? Her sister's voice was sharp. She's falling apart and you don't even care. I closed my eyes, already exhausted. That's not my problem. She's not eating. She's not sleeping. She loved you. She made a mistake, and you're throwing everything away. Clenched my jaw. It did mean something. That's why I'm not tolerating this. She threw it away the second she got into bed with someone else. So you're just going to ignore her? What if something happens to her? Her voice cracked. If she does something drastic, that's on you. That was the last straw. I took a deep breath. Let me be very clear. Her choices are not my responsibility. She made this mess. If you or anyone else tries to guilt me into going back to her, forget my number. Then I hung up and blocked her. The next day, I found out she and her friends had been talking behind my back, telling everyone I was heartless and cold. Then came the real betrayal. Her parents turned against me too. That one hurt. We had always been close. Her dad and I used to grab drinks together. Her mom always said I was like the son they never had. I thought they loved me like family. But in the end, blood was thicker than an 8-year marriage. Her mom called me, her voice full of disappointment. Frank, can't you just talk to her? No, I replied. You were like a son to us. And now you're giving up. I let out a bitter laugh. Giving up. I cheated. Remember. She made a mistake, her mom said. People work through these things. Well, I'm not one of those people. That was the last conversation I had with them. They made their choice and I made mine. Thankfully, my own family and closest friends supported me. They reminded me I wasn't crazy, that I was doing the right thing, no matter how much guilt her side tried to throw my way. I stayed no contact and let my lawyer handle everything. She fought the divorce hard, offered me anything I wanted to stay married. But I was done. When she finally realized I wasn't coming back, she signed the papers. After that, things moved fast. The divorce was finalized last month. Clean break. No strings attached. I won't pretend I was strong the whole time. 8 years is a long time. There were nights I couldn't sleep, moments I felt completely crushed. But I pushed through. And now I'm free. That should have been the end. But she still thinks there's hope we'll get back together. She keeps saying we're meant to be. That fate will bring us back together. I can say with complete certainty. That will never happen. She still texts me 3 to 4 times a week. Updates about her life, how much she misses me, endless apologies. I probably should have blocked her by now, but honestly, I kind of enjoy hearing how miserable she is. Maybe that makes me petty, but after what she did, I think I'm allowed a little satisfaction. As for her affair partner, well, I can't say too much about that yet. Let's just say my attorney and his attorney had a long talk. You can guess the rest. She claimed he meant nothing, that she ended things. But I don't care. Whether he was a fling or the love of her life doesn't matter. The fact is, she betrayed me. And there's no coming back from that. 7 months later, her affair partner handed me $200,000 to drop the legal case. I took the money. No need to drag it out. I'd already won in every way that mattered. I was free from a cheating spouse, and I got paid. Some call it hush money. I call it compensation for my wasted years. A few weeks ago, I got a call from an unknown number. I don't usually answer those, but something told me to pick up. Frank. It's Linda. Her mom's voice was unsteady. I almost hung up, but I stayed on the line. I knew why she was calling. She collapsed at home. They found her on the floor. She hadn't been eating or sleeping. The doctors say it's severe depression. She's in a treatment center now. I said nothing. What was I supposed to say? That I felt sorry for her. That I'd come save her. Linda sniffled. Please, Frank. Just talk to her. No, I said, my voice firm. She's not my problem anymore. She's sick, Frank. She needs help. Cut her off. She should have thought about that before she cheated. I owe her nothing. There was silence. Then she whispered, she still loves you. I let out a cold laugh. She loved me so much she cheated in broad daylight. Well, she loved the life I gave her, the comfort, the stability. If she truly loved me, she wouldn't have destroyed it. Don't call me again, I said, and I hung up. That was when I knew. As long as I stayed in the city, they'd keep chasing me down. So I used the money to buy a small farm in the countryside. Far from the noise, far from the memories. I got a few animals. Chickens, goats, even some horses. I gave up corporate life for good. No more meetings. No more deadlines. No more dealing with people I didn't want to see. Out here it's just me, the land, and the sunrise. I wake up early, work with my hands, and breathe in fresh air. For the first time in a long time I feel good. Not just emotionally but physically and mentally too.